Rettthebest here.
And the Nutt.
We will be doing a Q&A, so if you have a question, just post it below and we'll answer it in the Q&A. We are here to watch episode 2 of Final Fantasy VII. Wait, what?
Black Butler, Book of Murder, episode 2.1.
Point A. I'm doing A and B.
Alright.
So, once again, we are split, because these are like an hour long each, we are splitting them into 2 pieces. This is the first piece of episode 2 of Book of Murder. And do you remember what happened last time?
No.
Okay, well, Sebastian died.
Yes, I remember that now. And all the servants were upset.
Yeah.
Except one.
Which one?
Tanaka.
Are we sure he wasn't upset?
I'm sure he was.
But he was holding it together, at least.
Yeah. Unlike Finny and the maid and the cook.
Yeah.
Sorry, Finny's the only one I can remember the name to.
Mayren. Balroy.
And Balroy.
Balderoy? Something like that.
Okay.
And then that guy showed up.
Yes. And they suspect him of the murder of Sebastian.
And then the other guy died that was asleep in Ciel's room.
Yes.
And your theory was originally Charles Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And now you say it's not Charles Gray.
It has to be someone in that house, though.
Okay. Do you have an assumption?
No.
Okay.
I need to gather more clues.
Gathering more clues. Okay. So, here we go. I think what I like most about this is that there's not a, Oh, this is previously on.
His name is Herr Georg von Siemens.
There's another level to this. There must be. Her Majesty is clearly dropping a hint she wishes to test me again. I think we must assume she will be judging both my loyalty as her god dog and my capability for the role. We shall have to be very careful how we handle this situation. One wrong move could lead to my utter ruin.
I suppose the best families would have the best servants.
Oh, and we found out who the dark brown haired
Please excuse me.
guy was. Who? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah.
Conan or whatever.
Yeah. Previously on. On that, by the way, I get less copyright notices if we talk more.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so talk.
And you. Ciel freaked out.
Yep.
And he found out Sebastian was dead.
Yep.
Oh, I know who that is. The stage guy.
Was it the stage guy or the banker?
Since Sebastian was the sole person with the keys to the Earl's chamber, only he could have killed Mr. Phelps. And as for Sebastian, other than the Earl and myself, basically anybody could have killed him. In other words, this proves it was impossible for one perpetrator to have committed all the murders.
All the murders?
Yep. Then this guy showed up.
Mm-hmm.
You mean there really is a 13th man? Where has he been hiding?
Been a while, Jeremy. How are you?
Another surprise. You know this old fellow, my lord.
Old, is it?
Yes.
Do call me Jeremy. No need to stand on ceremony with me.
And he's a deacon from the church or something.
Yeah.
The Catholic church or something.
I don't think he's Catholic.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure this is after the Protestant Catholic
Nice.
split thing.
Can't trust him just because he's a vicar. Only a 13th man could have committed the murders, and he has no alibi. He's our culprit. Unfortunately, that is utter nonsense, Mr. Woodley. I am terribly sorry. How do you know my name? Who are you? That ring you're
See,
wearing
that's
gives
the
game
theater
up, I'm
guy
afraid.
with the orange
Oh,
hair.
I deduced your
okay.
identity.
The blonde guy
Diamond
was
so
the
large
banker.
and such a distinctive cut leads to but one conclusion. You see, the round, brilliant cut, as it is called, can only be achieved with new equipment recently developed by the Woodley Company. And I hear the London gem dealer Daniel Anderson has been describing it as a rarity not yet available on the open market. Among the guests Lord Phantom Hive invited to his dinner party, who would have the means to possess such a singular ring? The answer is one man, Carl Woodley. Thus, such must be your identity. I am not mistaken, am I?
If we can move on, how did you come here? For that matter, why did you come here?
Bursting with questions, aren't we? You there, sir. Yes, you with a cigarette and goggles. Set my bag down and open it.
Oh, that's the owl Sebastian gave me!
I've drugged him to keep him asleep, but yes. If you would kindly take a look at that letter, my lord.
The homing owl.
Please tell us, what did Sebastian say?
Yes, he would do this. Evidently, he arranged for the owl to carry this note to Jeremy because he had somehow predicted his own death.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what's on that bit of paper. It isn't enough to prove he's not our killer.
Perhaps if you inspect my coat pocket.
It's for a play, I think. A ticket, looks like.
What's the date?
Yesterday. It's for the evening of 12 March. Let me see.
The Lady of the
Says
Lake.
the name of the theatre. The Lyceum Theatre. And the play was,
It was a performance of The Lady of the Lake.
That seems correct. At the very least, I can confirm that the Lyceum is running the lady now.
It was past the 10 o'clock hour when the show ended. Even if I'd given the driver a sovereign, the trip here would have taken 2 hours by hansom cab, although on second thought, it would have been twice that in this storm, I should think.
A cab in this weather? Unlikely.
The rain's flooded all the rivers. You couldn't cross them in a cab unless the horses pulling it had wings.
A fair point, though there are any number of routes here, of course. And just as there are countless paths here, so there are infinite means to many an end. And so there is but a singular truth.
You couldn't have committed the murder since you were in London last night taking in a play. Is that the truth you were speaking of?
Just the quick thinking I'd expect from a novelist. I must read one of your books someday. If you wish to know what a man's profession is, you have only to observe his clothing and his habits. The callus on your middle finger from writing, and the blue tinge to your sleeve. The last comes from washing a shirt that's been smeared with ink. Shoddy laundering, if you ask me. Finally, there are the ideas you've written down in pencil on the inside of your cuffs, so you won't forget them.
Brilliant! You remind me of my old instructor, Dr. Bell.
Human observation is my little hobby. Now then, I've given you sufficient evidence to clear myself of wrongdoing. Perhaps you could untie me. I've been bored of late, and from the look of things here, you have a problem on your hands that could prove to be most entertaining.
And there you have it. That's everything of note.
I just love that flower on Finney's hat.
I was correct then. This is most intriguing indeed. If I may inspect the bodies now, the dead will be quite helpful. They are both eloquent and honest.
That shouldn't be a problem. I'll take you to the wine
A
cellar.
moment. Carry each body to a separate room before I conduct my examination. Smells are frequently of the utmost importance in solving a case. If the bodies are kept together, their scents will intermingle. The wine cellar smells strongly of wine. We want the only scent to be that of the mystery we must solve.
Very well, then. We'll proceed as you advise. Well, you heard him. Carry the corpses to 3 separate rooms.
As you wish, young master.
It would be a relief to change out of this wet clothing.
There should be some clothing in my late butler's room that will suit you. Come, I'll escort you there.
There, what do you think of this guy?
Who does he think he is?
Wow.
Coming in here and acting like he's in charge or something.
Well, if you ask me, he seems a lot more like a copper than any vicar.
Yeah. You know what, though? There's something about him. Can't say what it is, but I trust him for some reason.
Careful who you trust, Vinny. That kind of thing can get you in trouble.
Right you are indeed.
right, Sebastian. It's time for us to move you now.
Very well. I shall examine each corpse in
His
order
eyes
according
look
to the
weird.
time of death.
In that case, you'll want to look at
They
Herr von
do.
Siemens first.
Excellent. I'll be coming too.
There's Gray.
There's only the one external injury. A single blow with a blade that was quite sharp. I see he was over fond of drink. Nasty habit.
And how'd you suss that out?
This longer pocket watch is an item of considerable value, but there are scratches all round the keyhole. Only a man who was very careless or one who was very drunk would leave such marks. Then, of course, there's the rather strong smell of alcohol. He had a stiff drink shortly before his death.
What is it now?
I think I detect a faint whiff of the sea.
The sea?
I say, good sir, do you have a handkerchief?
Oh, yes. Here you are. What?
I am much obliged. Now, Mr. Phelps is next on the list, I believe.
As you
Yes.
can see, he was killed in
The
a
dirty
vastly different
handkerchief.
manner than the other two. I suspect that something poisonous was injected into his neck.
May I see the room in which the murder took place?
Yes, I'll take you.
We're lucky to have a sharp observer like Jeremy on hand. He may well notice something we've missed in our own investigations.
We seem to have lost the old fellow somewhere along the way.
Still with us?
Ah, do excuse me. I'm a touch winded.
This is the problem with the elderly.
I let you borrow my handkerchief because I thought you didn't have one.
No, he just didn't want to use his own.
I can conclusively report that there are multiple guilty parties.
And it's as we suspected.
Apprehending Herr von Siemens' killers would present little difficulty, but capturing the one responsible for Mr. Phelps's death may be more complicated. Capture him we must, and with some haste, before any more lives can be lost. No human can leave in this storm, after all.
That's a rather cryptic statement.
Capturing Mr. Phelps's killer is our priority. It will require two things. One is that we wait until nightfall. As for the other, for that, I need your assistance.
My assistance.
Yes, yours specifically. I'll tell you everything this evening.
I can hardly wait, but in the meantime,
So what do you
the
think's
butler's
gonna
next.
happen?
Shall we be off?
Ciel's the next one to get killed.
I believe you said that he was fatally stabbed after receiving a blow to the head. I'll just take a closer look.
My lord, what's wrong? You look pale.
I apologize. I'm finding it tries my nerves to keep seeing Sebastian's body like this.
It is a grievous loss.
What? Where was this reaction when you were casually undressing his body?
There. I'm all finished here. The butler's cause of death was simple indeed.
You're done with him already?
Yes, I've seen enough to be getting on with.
Oh, look at that. It's almost time for dinner. I shall see you downstairs.
7 o'clock.
You two go on ahead without me. I must prepare for tonight's festivities.
Well, until tonight, then.
It's just Sebastian's dead body. Don't know what you're expecting to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely it couldn't be.
Well, what do you
Did he just kick him?
Is the supposed vicar really going to be able to find the murderer?
I don't know about that. What I do know is that we have to sort out what to do about tonight's dinner. We're going to be as good as dead ourselves.
Too right. I heard voices. Would you open the door, please?
I think it's Jeremy. You needing something, sir?
If you come here scavenging for food, there ain't any left. Thank you for the hospitality, but that isn't why I'm here. What's this, though? You're out of food?
It's right embarrassing it is, and I hate to speak about my betters like this. Truly, it ain't my place, and I know that. But, sir, one of our guests just eats so much.
I'll have another.
Before he died, Sebastian told us he'd laid out 3 days' worth of food. But it's already gone, it is.
The cupboard is all but bare. It's just down to beans and flour. With those supplies, bean soup is about the best we can do. But that'd be a disgrace to put on the young master's table. So, we're trying to think of something else right now.
The estate has a herb garden, does it not?
Yes, Sebastian made certain we had a great lot of them planted.
There's your first step, then. Herbs often have pharmacological effects, you see. Some of them even act to suppress the appetite. Fennel is such a herb, for example. Making the hors d'oeuvres with that in mind, we can lessen the guest's overall consumption.
Blimey, I didn't know plants could do that sort of thing.
Also, if that barrel there is full of soybeans, you can make soy meat.
I've never heard of that.
It's an imitation meat made from the beans. If you prepare it correctly, the diners may not even notice there is a difference. With that many soybeans, we should be able to make Hamburg steak for 30 people.
30? That ought to do.
Cooking is a science as well as an art. If you know the basic principles, you can accomplish practically anything.
Cool. Is there anything you don't know, Jeremy?
We've no time for idle chit-chat. Dinner begins shortly. First, boil a large quantity of soybeans. Move quickly now.
I'm off to fetch herbs from the garden.
I'll see to the soybeans meanwhile.
And I'll go with Tanaka to choose tonight's wine.
What is it?
I can't believe I forgot until now. Earlier, when we ladies were looking through each other's rooms, I happened upon something terrible.
Terrible, eh?
Miss Diaz had a suspicious bottle in her things. It was filled with a dark red liquid. Everyone said Mr. Phelps got bit on the neck. So when I saw that bottle, I couldn't help but think.
Yes, I see. That is quite intriguing indeed.
And Miss Diaz told me they keep their courtship a secret because she's 12 years older than Mr. King.
12 years older?
And you know what they say about vampires? Well, they don't ever age none, do they?
A vampire among us. I have no doubt that would be a fascinating experience indeed.
What do you
I am
think?
afraid there is a simple explanation for what you saw, though.
Wow.
Is there? Really?
Yes, there is. And I shall reveal it to you this evening. But back to dinner. That is where we should be concentrating our efforts. I shall assist you. There's much to do. A night full of twists and turns fast approaches.
Oh, I couldn't eat another bite. What an excellent meal. Those steaks were just right. Nicely meaty without being greasy. I could eat 100 of the things. I say, you Phantomives use only the best meat for your table, eh?
How kind of you to say.
It's all beans.
Well then,
I don't like
very
soy.
helpful. Shall we proceed? If you are done being enigmatic, Vicar, I know I at least would love to hear your theory of the case. Would you care to share it?
Look, his eyes are open.
No need to
Whose
rush.
eyes?
As I said before, I
Yao,
shall
or
require
whatever his
Earl's
name is.
assistance if you
Lao.
will be so kind.
What is it you need me to do?
Not very much, my lord. Simply undress.
Take off all your clothes. It's getting hot in here, so take
Now
off
listen
all your
carefully,
clothes.
my lord. You mustn't speak or move a muscle, not on any account. Close your eyes and remain perfectly still. Do no more than breathe until I give you the word. So much
Ooh
as a
la
trick,
la,
so you
he's
may find
naked.
your life forfeit to our investigative gamble.
Which sounds horrible because he's like 13.
According to Jeremy's suppositions, the murderer is going to appear again tonight. But why would he return to the scene of the crime? It seems a terribly reckless thing to do. He's coming. Wait. Is that...
Do it now!
I have them!
That will be quite enough, please. I can't have you killing a witness.
Such writhing. What the devil?
Look, she's in CL's shirt.
Pardon the intrusion.
Tanaka!
I've been sent to inform you. They've apprehended the murderer.
They've got the guilty party in custody, all right.
Good heavens!
Allow me to introduce our killer.
They tied him into a knot.
You must be joking. I realize how incredible it must sound. But the creature truly did attack the lady here when she was wearing your clothing.
A black mamba. It is native to southern Africa, and its venom contains potent neurotoxins. The true killer gave it a whiff of the Earl's scent and trained it to kill based on that. But in the end, a snake is a snake. It could follow the Earl's scent to his bed, but it couldn't know whether the human it killed was in fact the Earl.
Fascinating. That indicates the killer was unaware that Lord Phantomhive was sleeping elsewhere.
So it went to my room, and Patrick Phelps paid the price. A high price indeed.
The effects of long training are not easily cast aside. I set a trap because I felt certain it would return. And it appears I was correct in that. My thanks to the lady, the rest of us would have been too large to play the part.
Tight clothes.
And moreover,
Tight clothes.
now Lord Phantomhive could dodge a snake.
The little lord's demise would have been most inconvenient for us, wouldn't it, Ranmao?
I'm glad you're not dead.
Can't you put on something decent?
No hugging. And as for my attire,
No
I
hugging.
assume you put me in my butler's coat to disguise my scent from the snake.
It was perfectly sized to cover that tiny body of yours.
You always say at least one word too many, don't you?
What I'd like to know is how the snake got into the country at all. As far as I'm aware, it's illegal to carry poisonous snakes on trade ships.
I would wager it was smuggled in. As for how that was done, the simplest way to accomplish it would be to pay off someone who owns a freighter.
That makes sense, though given where the snake originates, it would have to be somebody who did business in Africa.
Let's see here. What are our main imports from Africa? Gold and diamonds, I suppose.
No! Hold on a moment! It wasn't me! What about Kunlun? They're a trading company!
Ah, yes we are. But our business never takes us to the African continent, so...
Still, having some connections in Africa isn't enough to prove that Mr. Woodley here is a murderer.
Yes, that's right. And what about Herr von Siemens' murder? I've an alibi, if you recall.
Ah, yes, but that alibi may be meaningless.
What do you mean by that?
The corpse the servants found when they broke down the door, well, it may not have actually been a corpse at all. For those who are familiar with Romeo and Juliet, there is a scene in which Juliet drinks a certain potion.
You're suggesting
That is correct. The potion actually exists. Scientists recently discovered something called tetrodotoxin. I'm told that if you refine it a certain way, it allows you to enter a state of suspended animation.
I believe I've heard of it before. It's the toxin found in octopuses and pufferfish.
If you'll
Octopussies.
recall, I detected a scent of the sea whilst examining the body. It likely came from a pufferfish-based poison. Now this raises a new question for us. Why on earth would I smell poison on someone who was stabbed to death?
Because it was a ruse.
Quite. Herr von Siemens faked a chest wound. He then drank the poison, disposed of the container, and pretended to die. None of the party guests were likely to examine the wound closely. The deception need only be temporary. And yet, the body I examined today was in fact stabbed.
He meant to fake his murder and then was actually killed? What rotten luck.
We can take it a step further.
What do you think?
Given how things played out, the killer may have been setting a trap for the Earl.
What sort of trap?
It's not clear whether Herr von Siemens was a knowing accomplice. He seemed to lose all sense of control when he drank, so... Perhaps the real killer...
And
saw
Ranmao
it as a
doesn't seem
practical
too
joke,
upset by it.
suggesting they gave everyone
Yeah.
a good fright or the like.
You make a good point. He and I had never met before the party, so he wouldn't have anything against me. I think we can therefore assume he was used and then silenced by someone who wanted to incriminate me.
Indeed. And who would wish to do that?
Wait! Anyone could have put him up to it, not just me. This makes everybody's alibi worthless.
That is true. But you have motive and opportunity. Why should we think you innocent? After all, everyone lies, Mr. Woodley.
Say, if he drank some poison, as you suggest he did, how did he dispose of the bottle? Where is it now?
That's simple enough. He had only to toss it someplace where we wouldn't immediately see it, like into the fire.
That fire was burning particularly bright, like it had a lot of fuel. Is it bloody hot in here to anyone else?
With the fire going, we wouldn't see it there. And he could then return to collect it when our attention was elsewhere.
Yes, except he was prevented from doing just that. By Sebastian.
That's it. The butler came to tend the fire before the killer could destroy the evidence. That bottle alone could suggest the truth of the crime. And the murderer would lose his
Look at Tanaka's face in this scene. I don't think it was drawn very well.
So he panicked and killed Sebastian as well. He then collected the bottle from the fireplace and went back to his room.
If that's the case, then whoever killed him must have the bottle. And I have no such object in my possession. You've already searched me and this entire room, remember?
Yes, we've searched the room. Everywhere but the fireplace.
Utter nonsense! I don't have it, I tell you!
That should be easy enough to settle. Let's take a look-see, shall we?
Pieces of
Shards
broken
of
glass.
Still not proof. We can't tell what they were from.
We'll be able to if we put them back together.
Sorry? We can't possibly. The shards are too small.
Finished.
That was impressive. It looks like an ampule for a drug of some kind. And considering that it was in this fireplace...
I knew it! It was you all along! You're a murderer!
No! I've never seen that before, I swear it!
You framed a child for a grisly murder? That's despicable.
Why would I do that?
Diamonds. The Rhodes Company is the largest in the whole diamond industry. There was a highly secret plan in place for them to start a jewelry venture along with my own company. If it panned out as expected, Mr. Woodley's company was sure to see a drop in sales. A few days ago, however, the Rhodes Company president was murdered, and the plan was temporarily suspended. I assumed that you intended to kill me too before the venture could go forward. Quite a shoddy plan when you think about it.
You must believe me! On my honor, I am innocent! I am the one who's being framed! It's him! He's responsible! He's the Queen's guard!
That will be enough. Make no excuses now. You can have your say when you've been safely ensconced in a cell.
Stop! I'm not the one you want! Please, I honestly didn't do this!
Save your breath. I'm not interested. I find him in a particularly foul mood.
Pardon, Lord Grey. If you'd like, I have just the thing for our friend here. A new bit of jewelry.
I imagine the police can handle the rest of it.
And thus our investigation draws to a close.
What a relief.
Indeed.
So then what was the bottle of dark red liquid the lady had if it wasn't blood?
Quiet, Billy. They can't find it anymore.
Yet another bottle. I've forgotten about that. The maid found a suspicious liquid in Miss Dears's room, you see. Is this what it looked like?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Oh, goodness.
Apparently the presence of this bottle among your things, combined with your youthful appearance and stunning beauty, led her to suspect that you were a vampire. I assume that this is what was actually in the bottle.
That's red perilla!
Exactly so. Red perilla
What's
has an
red perilla?
anti-aging effect on the skin. You boil it down to create an extract like this one. Did
Yes,
you
but
not?
is it a real plant?
I don't
Yes,
know.
you've uncovered my secret. I wanted to stay young with my Grimsby forever.
Irene, my darling.
My love.
Oh, is that all?
He's recovering from exhaustion as well. What say you all? I've more than enough to go around. Shall we drink to the case's closing?
Seems the storm has finally passed.
Almost as if the sky is blessing the success of our investigation. Now, would you be so kind as to lead the toast, Doctor?
Me, my lord?
In my opinion, you did more to close the case than anyone.
Well, In that case, here's to solving a mystery. Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers! It's 28 minutes, don't worry.
I'm not.
VR.
The case is closed. The guilty party has been apprehended. So why do I feel like there's something I'm missing? Like some important piece of the puzzle doesn't fit. Oh, hello, Jeremy.
The case is closed, is it not? And yet there's a troubled look upon your brow.
I don't know how we would have managed without your help, Vicar. Thank you for everything you did here.
My thanks to you. I doubt we'll meet again, but I wish you well in all things. Le docteur,
French again?
merci pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour mon chien.
I wonder what he said.
So do I.
Well, that was an odd thing to say.
Lorsqu'il essaie de boire sans capacité, ça contrôle.
No, absolutely not. I saw the body myself. Simply impossible. Although, there are so many things about this case that don't add up. When Herr von Siemens died, and when the butler died, and the way he behaved as if he knew what was going to happen. And there's that odd thing Jeremy said just as I was leaving. Could he have meant...
So we are meeting again. What brings you back? Did you forget something?
I decided my investigation was not yet complete. I came for the truth, Jeremy the Vicar. Or is it... Sebastian the Butler?
Oh my, well done. It seems they, or rather we, underestimated you. Yes, we did indeed.
Dr. Arthur.
No, it's incredible, unreal. No one could pull off such a deception so flawlessly.
Still unsure? You came back here because you wanted answers, did you not? If only you'd kept going, you could have resumed your humdrum life. My return. If the truth makes you...
Wow.
I had to know if my misgivings were correct so I could go after the yard's carriage. If I'm right, that means an innocent man is now in their custody.
My, you have quite a strong sense of justice, don't you? I suppose I should have guessed, knowing that you've written of the valiant medieval knights. Did you consider that if you revealed you knew the truth, we might not let you leave here again? A joke only. Your assumption
was
is correct,
it?
though. Woodley was not, in fact, the murderer. At least not in this instance, he wasn't. Don't let it trouble you. That carriage is where he belongs.
Wait, I don't understand.
I'm happy to explain more thoroughly. Perhaps over some tea. Sebastian.
At once. Here we are, gentlemen. Today we shall be pouring a second flush Darjeeling from Fortnum and Mason. It is accompanied by a petit foie.
Now, what made you suspect Sebastian was alive to begin with?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't actually sure about that. I just had a vague sense that something was off, that's all. He was, how do I explain this, simply too perfect. Sebastian the Butler and Jeremy the Vicar were both such unbelievable characters, yet they left no room for doubt. It was too neat. It was all orchestrated so well it was unnatural.
Oh, please explain further.
Well, for example, it was impossible to prepare everything so perfectly for your own sudden murder. That goes beyond anything that could be explained by simple foreboding. Then there was Jeremy's timely arrival. It was spectacularly suspicious, yet he had a watertight alibi. And of course his parting words to me.
Merci pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour mon chien.
That was what did it. What convinced me my unease was justified. It was also when I realized that if it were true, one improbable
What did he say?
possibility could overturn all of
I
our
don't
careful
know.
deductions.
I don't know either.
And that possibility was that Sebastian was not dead at all. And once I realized that, I couldn't very well do nothing.
And just a handful of words was enough to tell you everything you needed to know. I can understand now what my young master sees in you.
This is what happens when you go off script.
Well, now, what made me so improbable?
I first noticed it when Herr von Siemens was murdered. For someone as competent as you obviously are, to do nothing but watch. And when they suspected the Earl, you didn't offer so much as a word in his defense. It seemed odd for a butler not to defend his master. You didn't speak because you knew what was going to happen. That there would be another murder, and that it would clear Lord Phantomhive's name.
Very good. It's as you said, I knew.
I was right!
However, my knowledge of the impending murder is not the reason I didn't defend my master.
He probably wanted to see me taken down a peg or two.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was a bit peeved at you, my lord. I knew our opponent would make a move, and yet you left it for me to deal with, because you were sleepy.
Wait, I'm terribly sorry. What was that? You expected something?
We knew in advance that somebody who wished my lord ill would be among the guests at the party. We're not often caught flat-footed, you see.
So, you're saying, before the party even began, the two of you knew there would be an incident?
That's correct. We knew that the guest of honor, Herr Georg von Siemens, was going to die, and that I would be killed as well.
What?
Okay. Let's stop there.
Alright.
That's 34:26.
Alright, should I write that down?
I think we might be able to remember.
Alright.
So, this was Rettthebest and the Nutt.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
What do you think's gonna happen?
I'm not sure. My prediction was Sebastian was going to come back.
Well, you never said that prediction.
Once we got further, I was hoping rather than predicting.
Okay. Well, it is Black Butler. I mean, he's technically like the main character. He's the title character.
Yeah, true.
It'd be like Game of Thrones being called Ned Stark.